Steven Adler, the original drummer who brought the raw and energetic sound of Guns N' Roses to life, was surprisingly fired at the height of the band's success. This was a time when the band seemed invincible, but behind the scenes, tensions were brewing. What led to such a dramatic decision? Was this the end of Adler's career, or would it mark the beginning of a new battle? Let's delve into the circumstances surrounding his dismissal and how Steven Adler confronted his demons and struggled to rebuild his life after leaving one of the most iconic rock bands of all time. Steven Adler was born as Michael Coletti on January 22, 1965, in Cleveland, Ohio, to an Italian-American father and a Jewish-American mother. His early life was marked by significant changes and challenges, as his parents' separation led his mother to move the family to Los Angeles, California. This relocation would be pivotal, as it exposed Steven to the vibrant rock scene that would eventually shape his destiny. Upon arriving in Los Angeles, his mother decided to follow a Jewish tradition of renaming children after a parental separation, and thus Michael Coletti became Steven Adler. This new name symbolized a new chapter in his life and foreshadowed his future as a musician. During his early years in Los Angeles, Steven became captivated by the city's booming music scene, where rock was thriving. Despite growing up without a present father figure, Adler found solace and passion in music, quickly developing a love for the drums. By the age of 13, Steven's rebellious nature began to surface, causing concern for his family. After a series of conflicts at school, his mother sent him to live with his grandparents in Hollywood, a decision that would ultimately change his life. It was at Banro Junior High School that Steven met Saul Hudson, a skinny boy with a huge mass of curly hair who would later become known as Slash. The two became fast friends after a chance encounter when Slash helped Steven after a skateboarding accident. United by their shared love of music, the two would go on to play pivotal roles in each other's lives and in rock history. After returning to live with his parents in the San Fernando Valley, Adler began focusing more seriously on drumming, trading in his skateboarding afternoons for music practice. He quickly showed a natural talent, and after finishing high school in 1983, he returned to Hollywood with a dream of becoming a successful musician. Adler auditioned for the band London, which was well known on the Sunset Strip, but the audition didn't pan out. Undeterred, Adler and Slash decided to form their own band, Road Crew, inspired by the song The Road Crew by Motorhead. They placed an ad in a local newspaper in search of a bassist, and Duff McKagan, who would later play a crucial role in Guns N' Roses, responded. Together, Adler, Slash, and McKagan began experimenting with new sounds and writing music. It was during this time that the famous riff for Rocket Queen, one of Guns N' Roses' most iconic songs, began to take shape. However, despite their excitement, they struggled to find a suitable vocalist for the band. Numerous auditions were held, including one with Ron Reyes from Black Flag, but no one seemed to fit the bill. Tensions within the group also began to rise as Adler's work ethic clashed with Slash's more dedicated and focused approach. Frustrated by the lack of progress, Slash dissolved Road Crew in 1984. While this dissolution could have been a setback for Adler, fate had other plans. In 1985, Adler joined Hollywood Rose, a local band featuring Axl Rose and Izzy Stradlin, two musicians who would soon play a key role in his career. That same year, Guns N' Roses was in the midst of lineup changes, and Adler, along with his friend Slash, was invited to join the band. Together with Duff McKagan, they completed the classic Guns N' Roses lineup. With the lineup solidified, Guns N' Roses began their rise to fame, playing in legendary Los Angeles venues such as the Whiskey A Go-Go, the Roxy, and Troubadour. These performances were raw, intense, and unpredictable, reflecting the band's rebellious spirit and drawing attention from both fans and record labels. By 1986, their high-energy performances had caught the eye of Geffen Records, leading to a record deal. In July 1987, the band released their debut album, Appetite for Destruction. The album was a perfect blend of hard rock and attitude, featuring hits like Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, and Paradise City. The success was staggering, with Appetite for Destruction eventually selling over 30 million copies worldwide, 18 million of those in the US alone, making it the best-selling debut album in US history. However, as the band's success soared, so did the pressures and personal challenges. Adler, in particular, began struggling with substance abuse. In December 1987, during a tour with Alice Cooper, Adler was involved in an incident that highlighted the darker side of his rock and roll lifestyle. After getting into a bar fight while heavily intoxicated, Adler broke his hand after punching a lamppost, leaving him unable to play for a period of time. Fred Coury from Cinderella was brought in to fill in for Adler while he recovered. This incident was just the beginning of a troubling pattern of behavior that would eventually lead to Adler's dismissal from the band. Over time, his drug use became more apparent, and by early 1989, it was beginning to impact his ability to perform. During the American Music Awards that year, Adler was conspicuously absent, with his official reason being the flu. However, the truth was that Adler had been admitted to a rehabilitation program to address his growing drug problem. From that point forward, his battle with addiction became a central struggle in his life, directly affecting his role in Guns N' Roses. In October 1989, Guns N' Roses hit a career milestone, opening for the Rolling Stones at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. However, tensions were boiling under the surface. During one of these performances, Axl Rose shocked the audience by publicly threatening to quit the band if certain members didn't stop dancing with Mr. Brownstone, a thinly veiled reference to heroin use. The comment was directed at Adler, whose addiction was becoming a major issue within the band. By early 1990, Steven Adler's drug use had reached a critical point. His playing suffered to the extent that he could no longer perform up to the band's standards. After several failed rehearsals, the band temporarily fired him, offering him one last chance to clean up. In order to return to the band, Adler was forced to sign a contract agreeing to stop using drugs. Though he returned to the band, it soon became clear that his problems were far from over. When Guns N' Roses entered the studio to record Civil War, Adler's addiction made it impossible for him to keep up. He later admitted that he tried recording the song dozens of times, but his bandmates grew increasingly frustrated with his inability to perform. His once powerful drumming had become unreliable, and the band's patience wore thin. By July 1990, after numerous attempts to help him, the band made the difficult decision to officially fire him. Matt Sorum, formerly of The Cult, replaced Adler, and the band's sound shifted to a more polished style, missing the raw edge Adler had provided. Izzy Stradlin, Guns N' Roses rhythm guitarist, later reflected on the impact of replacing Adler. He noted that Adler had brought a loose, almost carefree feel to the band's early albums, which had contributed to the raw energy of Appetite for Destruction. Sorum, while more technically precise, brought a more polished sound that changed the band's direction. For many fans, Adler's absence left a gap that could never truly be filled. After his dismissal, Adler faced a series of personal and legal challenges. He auditioned for AC/DC, but the opportunity slipped away after Axl Rose publicly referred to him as a drug addict at the MTV Video Music Awards in 1990. Adler also filed a lawsuit against his former bandmates, claiming that the contract he had been forced to sign deprived him of financial rights as one of the original members of Guns N' Roses. He eventually received a settlement, but his struggles were far from over. In the years following his departure, Adler continued to battle addiction. He reformed Road Crew with new members, but was unable to achieve the success he had hoped for. His personal life spiraled out of control, with multiple arrests and legal issues related to his drug use. In 1995, Adler was arrested for heroin possession, and the following year, he suffered a stroke after consuming a dangerous mix of heroin and cocaine, leaving him temporarily paralyzed on one side of his face. Despite these setbacks, Adler remained determined to reclaim his career. In 2003, he formed the band Adler's Appetite, which toured the US and Europe, performing Guns N' Roses hits and covers of rock classics. In 2008, he appeared on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew, where his ongoing battle with addiction was laid bare for the public. Although his behavior on the show was erratic, Adler continued to pursue sobriety. In 2011, Adler formed a new band, simply called Adler, which marked his return to creating new music. In April 2012, Adler was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Guns N' Roses' classic lineup. Although Axl Rose chose not to attend, for Adler, this was one of the greatest honors of his life, symbolizing the validation of everything he had achieved despite his struggles. Later that year, Adler and his new band performed on the Kiss Cruise, symbolizing his triumphant return to the stage after years of personal turmoil. However, Adler's journey was far from over. In 2013, he postponed a planned U.S. tour to enter rehab once again, acknowledging that his fight for sobriety was ongoing. For many, Adler's resilience and determination to overcome his personal demons have made him a symbol of survival in the rock world. Though his career has been marked by highs and lows, Steven Adler's love for music has never wavered. His journey from the heights of fame to the depths of addiction and back again is a testament to his enduring spirit. Even after all the obstacles, Adler continues to play, sharing his passion for music with fans around the world.